Hello, welcome to Dungeoneer'S Pack, a channel bringing you player-focused discussions and character guides for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. My name is Josh, thank you for watching. Mythic Odysseys of Theros is now in the hands of players, and it brings a bunch of new options for players to use in their games. The latest setting book introduces 2 new subclasses into the game. The Bard now has the College of Eloquence, a subclass inspired by ancient Greek philosophers such as Plato and Aristotle, with a focus on persuasion and reasoning. The Paladin now has the Oath of Glory, a subclass inspired by Greek mythological heroes like Hercules and Achilles, who rise to the challenge when tested by the gods. In today's video, I'll be taking a look at the new abilities these subclasses add to the respective classes, as well as how you can fit these into other official settings of 5th edition. With that said, let's get started. We're going to take a look at the College of Eloquence subclass for the Bard first. College of Eloquence expands the Bard's concept from music and the performing arts into the realm of spoken word. As poets, orators, or philosophers, they can use the power of speech to inspire their allies to perform acts of heroism. The subclass gets 2 abilities at level 3. The first one is powerful and without a doubt is the best ability to support social skills in 5th edition. The ability is Silver Tongue, and it allows you to take a result of 10 if any d20 roll you make for a persuasion or deception check is 9 or below. Silver Tongue really makes you feel like a master of speech and argument by removing much of the chance that comes from rolling dice. Assuming we are using the standard array, a race with a charisma stat increase, have proficiency with either skill, and placing the highest starting score into charisma, your average result when rolling any number under 10 would be 15 at level 3. This does not take into consideration if you have expertise in any of these skills. The next ability at level 3 is Unsettling Words. Unsettling Words is showcasing your bard using reason to cast doubt on your enemies. As a bonus action, you can use one of your bardic inspiration die on a creature you can see within 60 feet. Whatever the roll is on your bardic inspiration die, subtract the result from that creature's next saving throw it makes before their next turn. This ability requires some setup, some luck, and some well-timed use of the hold action option during combat. It is similar to the Bard class ability Cutting Words, except it's a bit slower and it's more focused as it targets only saving throws. Depending on where you're at on the initiative in combat will really determine how much mileage you will get out of its use. Solid communication and cooperation between your team, whether it happens between characters in-game or players out of game, will make this ability worth it. The Bard appears to get abilities in pairs because this subclass receives another 2 abilities at level 6. The first ability is Unfailing Inspiration. Unfailing Inspiration safeguards our bardic inspiration that we hand out to our allies, making sure they don't end up going to waste. If our ally uses the bardic inspiration die on an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw and fail that check, they get to keep the die to use next time. The way this ability is worded also means if they continue to fail while using the die, they can continue to keep it until they succeed. This allows a bard of this subclass to use their inspiration die a bit more freely while not having to worry that a die they hand out will go to waste. The next level 6 ability gives the bard a variant of the Tongue spell. Universal Speech takes an action to use and you choose a total number of creatures equal to your charisma modifier within 60 feet of you. Those creatures can magically understand you for 1 hour and you can use this again after finishing a long rest or using a spell slot. It is similar to Tongues because it allows creatures within the space around the speaker to understand it, but where it differs is that the speaker may not necessarily comprehend the speech of those they are speaking to. That means you still have to use another language-based spell alongside this ability or work with another party member to act as a translator to create interesting roleplay scenarios. The last subclass ability comes in at level 14, and that's Infectious Inspiration. Infectious Inspiration spreads your reach with your bardic inspiration. Whenever a creature within 60 feet of you adds a bardic inspiration you gave them to an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and the roll succeeds, you can use your reaction to give another person a bardic inspiration without having to use any of your bardic inspiration charges. You can use this ability a number of times equal to your charisma modifier and regain all uses after a long rest. In comparison to the other level 14 abilities of the other Bard subclasses, this is definitely on the stronger side. This feature reinforces your ability to be able to support your team without having to stretch your resources. The College of Eloquence Bard is a really strong option for those wanting to play the class. The other Bard subclasses expand the class's toolkit or use the existing features in a flavorful but targeted direction. In contrast, the College of Eloquence subclass reinforces the core class abilities and the usual party role of being the face. Even if the subclass's first abilities are strong, this makes a good choice for a generalist bard. Now where can this subclass fit in other settings? In RAVNICA, this subclass is a perfect fit for someone who wants to play an intellect who works with law. This is a natural fit for anyone that wants to play a law mage for the Azorius or an advocate for the Orzhov. In EBERRON, this is a perfect subclass for gnomes of House Civis that carry the mark of scribing. The subclass shows that you have a power over the written or spoken word. In settings like Forgotten Realms or WILDEMOUNT, this is perfect for a noble or scholar who have gotten swept up in the adventuring life. As a noble, maybe you were versed in the politics of your home city and an opposing party ran you out of town. If you are a scholar, maybe you are a philosopher who simply wants to explore the world to obtain knowledge to write your magnum opus. The next subclass added in Mythic Odysseys of Theros is the Oath of Glory Paladin. The Oath of Glory subclass takes inspiration from Olympians and heroes of mythology. The subclass allows a player to create a champion dedicated to athletic excellence. When picking this subclass up at level 3, you get access to an expanded spell list. Whenever you gain access to a spell on this list, they are added to your character's spell list and don't count against the spells you know. When you hit 3rd level, you get access to Guiding Bolt and Heroism. At 5th level, Enhance Ability and Magic Weapon. At 9th level, you get Haste and Protection from Energy. At 13th level, you get Compulsion and Freedom of Movement. And at 17th level, you get Commune and Flame Strike. Many of the spells on this list are about improving physical abilities. Enhance Ability, Haste, and Freedom of Movement all enhance abilities you or your allies can take. The other spells on this list are flavorful to the Theros setting, but not overbearing enough that they would become an issue in other D&D settings. These spells show the Paladin's relationship with any of the deities in the setting. Overall, the spell list is solid, allowing the Paladin to lead the charge and buff himself, or be a supporter crusader and able to buff his allies. At level 3, the Oath of Glory subclass also gets access to their Channel Divinity feature. As usual, Channel Divinity comes with 2 options to choose from. The first is Peerless Athlete. Peerless Athlete really allows you to play up being the party muscle by giving you some abilities that are similar to certain aspects of a Barbarian's Rage feature and the Enlarge Reduce spell. As a bonus action, you can use your Channel Divinity to give you advantage on athletics and acrobatics checks. You can carry, push, drag, and lift twice as much weight as normal, and your long and high jumps increase by 10 feet. This effect lasts for 10 minutes. You don't get resistance to damage from rage or increase in size from enlarge, but this ability is more for out of combat encounters. The other Channel Divinity option is strictly for combat. Inspiring Smite triggers whenever you use your Divine Smite ability. As a bonus action after you have dealt damage to a creature using your Divine Smite feature, you can use your Channel Divinity to give out temporary hit points to creatures of your choice within 30 feet of you, including yourself. The total number of temporary hit points is equal to 2d8 plus your level in the class, and you can divide them amongst the chosen creatures however you like. Naturally, being on the front line, you are more than likely using this ability on yourself to keep a shield over your hit points, but having the option to use this on a few allies provides some flexibility that could save a teammate from going down. At level 7, the subclass gives you an aura ability that impacts your teammates around you. Aura of Alacrity increases your speed by 10 feet and anyone who starts their turn within 5 feet of you. At level 18, the aura's range expands to 10 feet around you. This paladin just became the best friend to monks, barbarians, and rogues. All those classes have increased movement speed built into their classes, and this paladin ability supercharges them. In combat, this will help your team catch up to fleeing enemies, or better reposition themselves to gain an advantage. Out of combat, this ability has some solid applications to help your team solve problems. Running from guards? They gotta catch you if they can. Your monk needs a little help jumping across a river or chasm? Nailed it. For level 15, we get the Glorious Defense feature. Glorious Defense lets you protect your teammates and, if successful, retaliate against those who dare to strike them. As a reaction, you add your Charisma modifier to an ally within 10 feet of you if they were to be hit by an attack. If the attack misses as part of your reaction, you are able to strike at the enemy if they are within range. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier, and it recharges on a long rest. This ability is straight up solid. Glorious Defense really depicts the heroic nature of this subclass. It is not overtly powerful, but still gives you another potential avenue to get in some damage. Potentially, you can unleash a Divine Smite and protect one of your other teammates that are sitting on the front line with you. The last feature for this subclass comes in at level 20, and that is Living Legend. As a bonus action, you give yourself the ability to ignore failure. For 1 minute, you gain advantage on all charisma checks. If you were to attack and the attack misses, instead it succeeds. And if you were to fail a saving throw, you can use your reaction and try to succeed again. You can use this ability again after a long rest, or if you use a level 5 spell slot or higher. This ability makes you feel that you have an ultimate form. You achieve athletic perfection able to ignore or push through any failure that comes across your way. Overall, a solid capstone that always guarantees you overcoming any challenge that is put in front of you. The Oath of Glory subclass is solid. It is flavorful and not overly powerful that it will dominate any other subclass choice for the Paladin class. The strengths of this subclass is that out of combat, you will be the party muscle and can still play the party face. In combat, you will not only be solid at dishing out damage, but providing solid supportive abilities to your teammates. This is a perfect subclass for those that want to play a character who will always be active in many aspects of the game while not being overly powerful that they will dominate time at the table. Now where does this subclass fit in other settings? In RAVNICA, the Oath and Glory Paladin fits perfectly with members of the Boros Legion. The divine backing of the Paladin class's abilities with this subclass's supportive features really makes for a perfect legionnaire who brings righteous justice while protecting his squad. In EBERRON, this may be the perfect subclass for a mage-bred humanoid. Rumor has it that House of Adalis were not only using their ability to make enhanced steeds for the war, but they drafted some recruits and made them into super soldiers. As a veteran of the war, maybe you were one of these recruits and the process haunts you to this day. In fantasy settings like Forgotten Realms and WILDEMOUNT, this is a perfect for followers of Cord. Reach for glory by being brave in the face of evil, improve your strength while showing restraint to avoid unwarranted destruction. The new subclasses are exciting and provide some great options for players looking for options that are flexible with their flavor. The College of Eloquence Bard is stronger out of the two subclasses, but does make for a great generalist bard. The Oath of Glory Paladin is my favorite out of the two subclasses from the Theros book, as it's such a well-rounded subclass with a strong class supporting it. They are both not as flashy as the subclasses introduced in similar campaign books, but that is the strength of these subclasses. They have the flexibility to be added into any setting without much work. Now I want to hear from you. Which subclass from Mythic Odysseys of Theros do you want to use for your next character? Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know when new videos are up. Alright, I'm out of here. Have a good one.